Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Context. My name is Joshua. I am your host. And today I'm happy and glad to introduce to you my first guest on this channel. She is the first guest, so give her some love and appreciation. I've known this guest for quite a while, and she became a friend. But the reason why she's here is not because she's my friend. It's because she's doing good work in the community. And we give flowers where flowers are due, you know. And I will let her talk about whatever she's doing, her NGO. But we'll go first in her background, where she's coming from, how she started doing what she's doing. So without further ado, I'm glad to introduce you to Mutesi Charity. Mutesi Charity, welcome on this channel. Welcome to The Context.
Thank you so much, and I'm so honored to be your first guest.
I am glad that you are my first guest. I was thinking of the first person to have on the channel, and I had no idea. And you know you were in the US. The time you said you were coming, I was like, oh, probably she would be the first, a good guest, because it's not just having people on the channel. Like, we need to have people who are having an impact in the community. I would love to have an impact in my community, in my country, and in my family. So I am glad that you're here, because you are the right person to start with, because you're doing something in the community, and it's something that needs to be appreciated. So I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you.
That's good. So let's get into the thing. Can you please tell us about your background? I know you were born in Rwanda, but you've moved a lot. Like, I know you are my friend, so I know some of your story, but I want the followers to know your background, your educational background, where you have been, and where you are right now.
First of all,
Yes.
I was born in Uganda, not Rwanda.
Oh my God. You see?
I was born in Uganda, then we relocated to Rwanda, I think, in '95.
Okay.
And I did my primary in Uganda, my high school here in Rwanda, and then I did my undergrad in the States. And yeah, and then I relocated back again to Rwanda, started a business, and I don't know, that's literally a little bit of a summary about me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did my internship in Senegal.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's about it.
So Uganda, Rwanda, US, Senegal.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I mean,
That's a lot. Okay, it's not a lot. There are people who have been to many places.
right.
But one thing that is known of Rwandans is that we are everywhere in a way.
That's true.
Based on our history, we've been chased out of our country, and I think that's why you were born in Uganda. You know, tell us about that. How the national history affected you and your family. What happened? How did you end up in Uganda? How did you find yourselves in Uganda?
Well, my parents were refugees in Uganda.
Okay.
And I think that's where they met, in Uganda as well. And they used to live, I don't remember exactly where their camp was called, but they used to live in a refugee camp, and we were born there. Besides my little brother, all other siblings were born in Uganda. And I remember my dad said, let me go to Rwanda and see what the situation is before you guys come.
Yes.
And then he came. It was still during that time when everything was shattered.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop us from moving. We moved back. I don't remember those years. I was a baby. But yeah, all I know, when we moved back, we lived in Nyamirambo, and then relocated to Kachiru, and then relocated later on. But it was just, yeah. But I like when you hear my parents or their friends, they have a very strong bond from the refugees, or people that were refugees there. They have a very, very strong bond. You're like, oh
Yes.
man, how do you keep that relationship for? But they struggle together, and then most of them have really become successful people in this country. But yeah, most of them relocated back.
Yeah, so after genocide, we all know what happened in Rwanda during genocide. By the way, if you're following this channel and you don't know what happened in Rwanda, just go online and Google Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi. It was it was it was just the one of the worst period of times that a nation can go through. We went through hell. I would call it hell. But how was your family able to pick themselves up? You know, coming after those ashes. You know, Rwanda was. I, I remember when I was a kid, we fled to Congo. We were in Congo. Coming back, we came back in 1995, and there were still bodies around. There was still the country was in chaos. It wasn't even in chaos. It was dead. So I imagine our parents had to work so hard to rebuild the country, to rebuild the economy, to rebuild infrastructure. And we because we were young, we don't know the price that they had to pay to have the nation that we have today. So how did your parents manage to pick themselves up and contribute to the nation?
Um, I wouldn't speak for my parents, but for the little that I know my dad is so patriotic. Like he
Yes.
loves the country so much. So whatever it would cost, most like when he had when there are some people that came from Uganda during to fight, you
Mhm.
know. So his brother was part of those, and he died during that time.
Oh,
You
was
know,
in the army.
he was in the army, and he
Okay.
died during that time. And like my dad kind of felt like I also needed to be there. I needed to
Yes,
go
yes.
fight as well. But
Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't think it's he feels guilty or anything, but he kind of feels like he owes so much to the country.
Yes,
And
yes.
whatever he does, honestly, like even when he talks to us, like in Dagagachiro, you guys need to respect yourself. You guys need
Yes.
to know where the country is coming from. Don't adapt all those other cultures. So
Yes.
oh, definitely he had to hustle to make it to, because he never went to school or anything, but he really really, I know if anybody that I know works really really hard is my dad.
Yes.
Actually he's my role model, if I would say.
Yes.
So I don't know step by step how he built what he has, but I know it's because of the love he has for the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know it's tough to talk about our parents and because probably they don't even know we're talking about them
Right.
right now, and most people like to stay private. But I know your dad to be a good businessman here in the nation, and he has done a lot business-wise, and he has achieved whatever he has achieved. Well, I don't want to focus on that because probably he doesn't even know we're talking
Right,
about him right
right.
now, and most people like to stay private. But whatever we know, the little we know is really good. It's really good uh, that you're coming from a family of, I don't want to say hustlers, but I would say conscientious people who are patriotic, and people who really have had uh, to contribute, not with blood, because we all felt that if you're a man and you never felt like you had to fight for your country, I don't know what kind of a man you are. When I
Right.
was a kid, I was like, when I grow up,
I wanna be a
they come
soldier.
back, we're gonna bang those people so bad. Even today, you know,
Yeah.
we hear threats from abroad, people trying to come back to no, it's impossible. It was back then when we were refugees. Like our parents grew up in refugee camps. You know, they never had a nation, and they had to really fight to regain their nation. And thinking that you can get us out just like that, now it's not that easy.
They
It's
say
just
never again.
never again, never again. That is a dream that has to be shattered. So growing in Rwanda in those times, where were you? Like, did you stay in Uganda in the first years when your parents were here?
No, we all relocated here, and then but we went to boarding school in Uganda. So we used to come
Okay,
here for
okay.
holidays, but then we went boarding. We are part of those kids that went to boarding school when you're literally 4 years old or 5 years old.
Wow,
Seriously,
wow.
I don't know how. I don't know. I'm not regretting because I learned
Yes,
so much from that, but that was tough. When I think
Yes.
about a parent dropping their child in a boarding school and just saying bye to them, dang, that was tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we used to just go to school, then come back home, and yeah.
I think you're addicted to a word international. Whatever that is international, there's gonna be
Right,
mutesi,
right.
right?
Hopefully one day, God willing.
Oh, that's nice. So according to what you're telling me, I think that's probably where your charity work, your charity heart started developing. Probably you've always had it. By the way, it goes with your name. That's your name. You're called Charity. So if it feels like you are really in your lane, how did you start doing the charity work? How did you start feeling the burden of helping others?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I've always been a servant. Like, even when I was in high school,
Yes.
my parents would give me pocket money, and I would be like, do I really need this money? I know my friend
Oh,
needs this
wow.
money more than I do, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
And I would send some of that money to some friends because I
Yes.
know they needed that. You know, when you live in the neighborhood and you know your friends' stories and stuff. So even when I went to the States, I'm the kind of person that I just don't want to leave. As long as I'm living here, what change can I make? So I volunteered in some organizations called CASA, which were working with really literally young kids, and I volunteered at the Boys and Girls Club, and I created a program called Smart Girls, and it was just more of like everybody was telling me, Cherry, you're not going to be able to serve these kids. These kids are so rebellious. So when you told me
Yeah.
something about these kids are so rebellious, give up on them, I'm like,
Then
society has given up
wow,
on them.
wow,
I'm not
yes,
giving up on
yes.
them, you know. So like that program, I ran that for 2 years, and it was one of the most fruitful things in my life. You know, seeing these kids. I remember they came to support me when I was about to speak in school, and they surprised me, and I'm like, oh my God, these kids
Wow.
really love me, you know.
Wow.
And before, like, cause my accent definitely is different from theirs, they were like, never listen to me. But it took time to build that trust. And when I graduated, I worked for an NGO back there as well called Doors, and we were working with aged out foster kids. When the kids reach at the age of 18, the system kicks them out. So when they kick them out, this is a person that is used to moving from foster home to foster home or runaways or something. But then now when they come into society, they're like, what next? You know, so we used to take those kids, and it's literally from scratch. We take them all to courts if they had like court hearings, like,
Yes.
hey, I'm gonna go with you, like I'm gonna be there with you,
Yes.
and trying to get them their birth certificates. Just literally the thing of saying something has my name on it, you would see how much, honestly, like I used to go to bed thinking about these kids. First thing in the morning, I would go to the system and see, I really pray none of these kids was put to jail. So
Wow.
they became my burden. I was like, I really need to see change in these people's lives.
Yeah.
You know, their first job, like I used to go knocking on doors, like, you need to hire these kids, you know, after all the
Yes.
trainings we. So when I moved back here, I was like, even when I was in the States, I used to tell people, anywhere I live, I'm gonna serve. Anywhere I live, and at
Sure.
Leturno, the school that I went to, they give you what do you call it? Jesus washing his disciples' feet,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
say, go be a servant. So I put that in my room. Literally, it's just like, yes, but God, where can I serve? So when I moved back, I started a business. Honestly, like, there is no amount of money that I would make that would make me feel satisfied, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
So I did research. There was a little cousin of mine that was raped when she was 5. I was like, maybe this is what I should do. I did some research. I did some research on disabled people, but I just kept doing research and research. But then when I was in town, you know, Abazunguzai, the way they'd be running from the locals.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they would come running in my shop and be like, hide me and stuff like that. And I remember one day I found myself, I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah.
This woman was fighting with local that's all. They were fighting with a Dasso, and the kid is on her back. She doesn't really care about this kid, the dust was also not caring about anything. They're just fighting. Honestly, I know I wasn't supposed to be there, but I don't know
Yes.
how I found myself in between these
That
guys.
situation,
You
yes.
know, I was like, hey, she has a baby,
Yes.
and Akavyoko Momoji people just came, hey, charity,
Yeah.
let's go help charity.
Yes.
But then I was like, you know what? I don't know the situation of these women. I know the government has tried to put some markets for them, like around, you know, but maybe this is why when I think about it afterwards, I'm just like, probably this is why God even made me open a business in commerciale.
Yeah.
These people are right in my face, and I started talking to some of them, and so I just realized when I was talking to them, I just realized it's a psychological issue. It's a psychological issue in a way of saying that this woman settling, the stability of settling, they don't know nothing about that.
Yes.
So they're also used to living like street kids.
Yes.
And you're taken to jail. Tomorrow you're coming back out. You're still doing the same thing.
They have kids.
They have kids. They're raising their kids as street kids. So I was like, when I was looking for license to operate, I remember the lady told me, you seem to be like a smart young girl. Why don't you put all that energy into the youth?
Yes.
We have given up on these women as well. So that reminds me, like I said before, anything anybody says that they've given up, I'm like, okay,
that's your that's your sign.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, then that's it, God.
Yes.
Okay, you've given up on
Yeah.
them. I'm gonna do my part, and if it fails, it fails. But at least let me try, and that's how Bohoka came up.
Yes.
You know.
That's to give you a short context on abazunguzaji and whatever, probably to the followers who don't understand whatever that is. These are people who sell, if you've seen in Africa, they sell on small baskets, whatever. They sell things in hand. And it's illegal in Rwanda because here there's order. You need to be allocated somewhere. You need to be in a certain market where you're allowed to sell things. So it causes a lot of chaos and whatever. And the government wanted to have order, so that they won't be filled in the streets. But of course, how in her situation, of course, the security people would probably chase them and not mistreat them, but they wanted to put them in their place. But these people are really, really stubborn in a sense. It's not easy to control these people, but also it's not a good thing to just leave it just like that. And if other people had tried to do these things and they were failing, especially because you're not just taking those streets, you're taking also the people who've been selling themselves on streets, stuff like that. That is a big case, and I remember you told me that when you went to register, they were just discouraging you. Like, we've done this. Other people have done this, So you should put your energy somewhere else. And the fact that you went to it knowing the records, because the statistics, statistics don't lie,
Yeah.
These are the numbers. People tried, the government is trying, and actually Rwandan government is doing a good job, because they take the street kids and they take them to a certain place and then they train them. Some come back and they make their lives, but not all of them go there, and especially they take the young kids, the boys and whatever, and then the jobs that the work that they are trained to do, sometimes it doesn't fit those ladies, So, but still pushing on and getting into the thick of the things, it's a great thing. So what were your challenges starting Bohoka? You started Bohoka in what year? And
We started in 2022.
Yes.
And definitely, when you think theoretically thinking I'm gonna do this, it's completely different when you put into practice what you're trying to do. Mostly, like, it's just like giving them that hope, like, hey, you can do it.
Nobody believed in them.
And one of the things that the ladies told me when we did, one of the most powerful thing was, thanks for giving us value. you know.
Uh-huh.
To me, honestly, that was encouraging.
Yes.
You know, that was the fact that they don't see themselves as a project, because it's really essential that we don't run it according, this is how we're doing it. It's
Yeah.
essential. It's like, how can I help you, because I'm
Yeah.
here to help you.
Yes.
You know, so just like talking to them, and I don't know, it's a struggle, definitely. It's so draining
Yeah.
working with people that have kind of given up on themselves, and working with people with no discipline, honestly, like trying to tell an old lady, like,
Yeah.
hey, you need to stop talking like a street kid, stop.
Yeah.
You know, you be an example to your children, you know. Sometimes when we did the Christmas parties, one kid came and gave me a hug, a tight hug. Is like, I see my mom. My mom doesn't do the night job anymore.
Yeah.
I see my mom a lot because of you guys. So honestly, so it's definitely, there's some bad stories that some of them just drop out and go back to their life. But at least out of 10, if you get 7 out of those 10, it's a success.
7 is big.
Yeah.
The 7 is a big
Yeah.
number.
So honestly, it's just slowly by slowly.
Wow. So I will give you again a context. We are always, all of us, we are conditioned by our society, our community. From childhood, you're conditioned by what you hear from your parents. Your parents are conditioning your mind. And then from there, uburezi bw'ibanze buri mu rugo, right? It starts from home. From there, you go into communities, and the community will shape you in their own way. If you go to a religious community, they will shape you. You know, it's conditioning. They're conditioning you. So if those people had terrible conditioning from their parents, so there's no order. Life is about chaos and order, and we need to find balance between chaos and order. So if they had more chaos in their family, they go in community, they have way more chaos because they're attracting what they have. You know, they are attracting exactly who they are, which is what we all do. And then in the nation, there's no support for you, or it's not that there is no support for you. You're just messed up to the point that the nation is too far. Like you should have been fixed from your parents. Your parents have to give you the best education before you go to schools, before you go to any community. So you cannot expect the nation to do something for the nation is too far. So the nation, by the time you're needing help from the nation, you are already gone in a way, because the nation will try, but if you don't have the support from the community, support from the family, you always be a mess.
Yeah.
So I think what you're doing is giving them the basic, the family. It's like a family sense. They feel. I've been to some of the graduations. You know, you invited me twice. I came. On the first one, I think you were launching. Yes, launching in public, but also you had already started helping them. And then the second one, the number had increased, and because you're doing it in a community, in a faith-based community, that's where actually we know each other is from the church. You're doing it seeing those people. It's not like I didn't expect them to, but I thought it's gonna be too hard. I was like, she's gonna face it rough. Why? You're doing it alone. For me, it wasn't a problem of not being, no, you're doing it alone. And I knew you had a business. You're doing a business, and I work with people, so I know how much headache you can get from just working with people, good people, not messed up people, you know. So you're working with those. I have my background in psychology, so I understand the severity of their chaos. It's just, it runs deep. You need so much help. So how were you able to do it with little help? Because I've been around you since you started, and I've seen how much energy you put in. How were you able to do it with little help? Because of you already have also success stories, which probably you should also talk about.
First of all, I just remind myself, I would have given up already, but I just remind myself that this is not my mission, it's God's mission. You know, it's just through me that God is just using me to serve these people. So honestly, the number of times I was like, I'm done with this, it's just like
Wow.
it's not your mission. So I just changed my language to God, you put me here, so find,
Make it happen.
yeah, make it happen.
Yeah.
Honestly, like when it comes to funds, like it was my business, and I have a co-founder, Rebecca, and she was not on ground, but she was,
in the
yeah,
States,
she was helping a lot as well,
Yes.
but so many times people would ask me, inyungu zawe ni izihe? Where are you benefiting from all this?
Where are you getting out of this thing? Yeah.
And until this day, I've seen God's favor in my life, and I'm just pretty sure it's because of serving these ladies.
Yes.
So when somebody that would ask me the same question again, inyungu zanje ni izihe? Ni imigisha y'Imana. It's God's blessings, and I've seen God really bless me a lot in my life. Like things that I would be like, really, how is this happening to me? Really?
Yeah.
How is this happening to me? And I'm just like, I don't know. I just know God got me, So, yeah, definitely talking about success stories with these women. Seeing some of the ladies, definitely, one of the women telling me that she started selling sweet potatoes in Kichichiro. And she told me, however hungry I'll be, I would rather tie my stomach and sleep hungry than go back on the street and sell myself.
Yes.
So that, honestly, it's not like she has a whole lot, but she knows her value now, and you can see the relationship she has with her children. You're just like, this is it,
Yes.
And we have a company that we're working with that they asked us to give them 10 of our women. So at least now this is a full-time job for these women.
Wow, that's good.
So they are trusting us that we have trained them, and they're like, okay. So it's things like saying, at least we have some, like even the braiding, some would call you, Charity, I made my first client, Charity, I did my first client, So things like that, before they would call you, Mezenabi, please give me some amakara, please. But they'll call you, oh, Charity, you're here. I have my first client. I have my second client. I'm just like, yeah, let's do it,
Wow,
So
great.
some of them braid from their houses,
Yes.
which is better than, honestly doing it. They're trying. They're trying to find solutions rather than always being victims,
Yes.
So it's honestly, it's tough again.
Yes.
It's not an easy thing, but we've seen change. And that's minimal change is honestly all we can ask for.
Wow, that is very, very important to hear, because some of the ladies that you help are already in the church, in the ministry.
Yeah.
And they're part of the ministry.
Yeah.
There's one that I know who is in the worship team,
Yeah.
and others are doing. There's one who gave a testimony, Thanksgiving on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Were you there? You weren't there, right?
No.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, oh, you weren't there yet. But I was listening to her. I'm like, are these the same ladies one who just came from mess?
It's one of the ladies is a young girl. She was like, so when they're talking about their stories, and some would be like, me, it would be like 2K, 5K, whatnot. And then this one lady is just like, I had a boss, and my boss would just dress me up, and just tell me, Jendari, Kubamotari. She never said this high level or what, anybody.
Whoever that pays.
Whoever that pays. But then when she tells you, I've never even got Ijichirichishan.
Wow. Out of that.
Yeah.
The boss was taking the whole money.
Was taking the whole money.
Wow.
Wouldn't you call that sex trafficking?
That is pimping.
Bro, I was like, wait, what?
Wow. They never got into a fight with the boss lady?
No, she just ran away. One day she's just like, nah, I'm done. Wow. But then the funny thing is, the sad part would be the fact that she still calls her Mabujawanj. Giving her that respect of saying my boss, and and like, at least she never even paid you.
She was already a slave.
Exactly.
Like literally a slave.
So like, it's just like things like that. You hear stories and you're like, oh really? they will not come and tell you some,
Yes.
but because they all know themselves. The first group that I worked with, they all knew themselves on the street,
Yeah.
So they'll just
They know each other.
they know
also,
each
yeah.
other in and out, So it's
Sharing stories of their clients.
yeah, so it's really I'll just be sitting there, and I would never be like, hey, what? I would never be judgmental.
You just listen.
Yeah, but it's just like, wait, what? And then you also know there is so much work to be done out there, just from listening. And honestly, these women, it's not like, I know a whole lot of people say, they've lost their names, but all these people, when you look at the ladies that I work with, honestly, when they tell you their stories, they've never had a chance in life.
Yeah.
They really have never had a chance in life.
Never had a foundation.
So it's just like, natangiye kuba umukozi mfite imyaka 10, umwana w'imyaka 10 aba umukozi gute mu rugo, boss umupapa uriya mupapa yafashe ku ngufu, umwana w'imyaka 12 aba umukozi gute mu rugo. I think that's not, so like, it's just like, you think about those things, and then they'll be like, and then I just decided, nobody cares about me anyway, let me just do the drugs. Nobody cares about me anyway. So they live a life of surviving, and they start living like hopeless, like, I don't care. There's nothing for me to save, like, I'm a broken piece moving around, So honestly, it's just that when she tells you Charity listens to me, like one of the ladies, there was this one thing that really touched my heart. We had an event, and I was really, really busy during that time, and the lady told me, Charity, I need to talk to you. And I was just like, I jokingly said, what do you want to talk to me about? But then I did not give her the time. I told her I'll talk to her. Literally, I forgot and did my stuff. So the next days, I see her, she's really having like an attitude, and I'm like, what's going on? She's just quiet. And when she went outside, she was talking to one of the facilitators, and she started crying. So the facilitator came to me and told me, but she has an issue with you. And she came to me, she's like, I'm sorry if I've started being a burden to you. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I was so overwhelmed. I had so much on my heart. And you're the only person that listens to me. So during that time, when you didn't make time for me, I felt like I'm being a burden to you. And right now, I just want to say, if I'm being a burden, I'm sorry. I just want to quit already. I'm like, hold on, that's too deep. I'm like, bro, wait, I know. I'm just like, oh, hold on, wait. I don't even remember when you told me that. It's like, yeah, this Wednesday, this and this. I'm like, oh, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm really, really sorry. What is it that you want to talk to me about? She's like, I don't want to talk to you about it right now. I just want to tell you that you are the one person that has sat with me and listened to me and showed me that you care about me. So I don't want to be a burden to you as well. I'm like, no, but
that's why you're there. So.
Bro, I started apologizing. Please forgive me. So you see, it's really not about what am I doing. It's just like they needed a chance of somebody holding their hand and tell them this is wrong. However, they could be 30, they could be 28, but they've never had that foundation. So honestly, it's things like that you learn every day. That's why with the people we work with, it's very crucial to the people we choose that are going to be involved with these ladies' lives. Like there's some trainings that they have to do. Even any companies or organizations that we work with, there is some training that we have to work with them. Most of those trauma healings, so that they can know emotionally who they are working with.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. So we all have a sense of belonging. We need to belong somewhere, and they felt that with you. Like we belong here. This is like you've been like their parent. So you're replacing a lot of you're fixing a lot of relationship issues that they've missed. Parental relationships, love. You're giving them a lot of emotions. You're restoring them. That's deep work. But so, how do you get to choose? Like, who do you choose? Why? What's the criteria? Why is not guys there?
I mean,
of course, I know why guys are not there. It's ladies, but explain to people, even someone who has people like that who doesn't know how to help them. But they know some people, and I've seen people. I didn't see. It's not all the people who've been just on streets. Now that I've seen some ladies who are just helpless, and you're just helping. So what's the criteria? How do you get to select people? How many people do you take? You know.
Yeah, so when we were starting, we used to do only 10 people a year.
Okay. Okay.
That's how much we could afford to do.
That was the capacity.
Yeah, that was the capacity. But then when we started,
Mhm.
because definitely the office is at the church and everything,
Mm.
there were ladies already in the church that needed help,
Yes.
you know, and most of them used to be like sex workers around there.
Around. Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, before I even think of going out there, let's work with the ones that we have here and see, you know. So honestly, it was a try and error, seeing like what method works and what doesn't work, and it's a lot of adjusting. So we definitely take the age of 20 to 35, and
Okay.
we have conversations with them. We do like more when we do an intake. We have like things that we ask them to see. Okay, maybe this person doesn't need Bohoka services. Maybe all they need is a job somewhere out there. So you can tell this person doesn't really need our services.
Okay.
So yeah, we did 10. Second cohort we did 10, and now we're doing 20,
Oh,
and we're doing 20, 40 in a year. So a group of 20, and then after 6 months we take another group of 20.
Oh wow.
So hopefully 40 in a year. So hopefully, God willing, with more
Get
potential, more
yeah.
support, we'll take
Even
100.
more,
You know, let's
However.
you know, however much God
Yeah.
will bless us. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah, we literally just have like one-on-one conversations to
Mhm.
kind of really feel like, does this person really need Bohoka services?
So 20,
Mm-hmm.
35.
Mm-hmm.
Why not below 20? About why that range?
So we thought of it like when the ladies that were most Abazunguzai are during that
They're in that, age
age.
range.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely there is others that are
Older.
way older, and there's others that are
Younger, yeah.
younger. But we were just like, you cannot really.
You have to limit.
You have to
in
limit.
one
You
way or
really have
another,
to
yeah.
limit. Yeah, honestly, like some people would come to you and they're like, I really, really need help, and they're 45. That also makes us
Yeah.
have our own boundaries. Like, no, this is how much we can do. This
Yes.
is who we serve. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good. So, how can whoever that would love to help the ministry, the organization, how do they help? How do they reach you? Contacts, or you can talk to this person. You know, you're talking about networking with other people. So how can people reach you and support the ministry?
Where we're not only feeding the women that we're feeding, but more of like a storage. So, you know, like if you want to donate kawunga to us, donate it in a of kawunga. And then next time when somebody says, Arashonje, give me something, you can tell them, go to Bohoka. So this food bank will not only serve the women they were serving, but it would serve the community as well. You know, go to Bohoka, they'll give you kawunga, go whatever, you know. So I want to welcome you guys to be part of this food bank. Honestly, it's just getting started. You honestly, like anything that is dry food that is not gonna go bad, we have storage for that, and we just want to see how we can really support the community, honestly. Because when some people would come to class, would say, and they'll be sleeping, they'll haven't eaten for 2-3 days, you know.
Yes.
It's really tough out there. So, and I know, honestly, if you have been blessed in any way, bless us by donating those dry foods to us, and you know, we'll use that to not for our own benefits, but to serve the community.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's very important, having a food bank. Wow, I didn't know you're going for that too. It's important, and it's giving people an opportunity to support and donate in different ways. There are people who might not donate cash, but they have food. They have extra food. They can go and buy food. They can buy a sack of rice, a sack of that maize flour that you're talking about. So as she said, she's giving, and And from that giving, she's receiving. There's no way you're going to receive if you're not giving. These things work together. And I was talking to her before the interview that this is one of my ways of giving her. It's not much, you know.
It's plenty.
This is the starting YouTube channel, and I don't have nobody yet, right? But it's gonna go somewhere, and people are gonna listen to it. I know that, you know. So, if you have something, whatever you have, go to the website, and give according to what your heart is telling you to give. Support according to how your heart is telling you to support, because nobody has empty hands. Everyone has something. So whatever you have, if it's within the context and the framework of the organization, please give, and you will receive back whatever, according to whatever you give, you receive. You might not receive financially. You might receive. This is the crazy thing when it comes to community harmony. Like when you go to any community, you expect to get something from a community. If you're coming to a church, if you're going to our NGO, whatever community that you find yourself, even if it will be a business community, even if it will be a political community, it does not matter. Whatever community you're in, you have to participate, right? You're giving, but you're also receiving. So, being part of initiatives like these, it is very, very crucial, because then you're putting out value. That means you're going to receive something, and you don't know what you're going to receive. You might be sick and you receive healing because you gave food. When it comes to these things, the mental side of things, because you've given something, you're going to receive something, but you don't know what you're going to receive. So be part of the giving side of things, not just receiving, but also be participating, not only in her organization, but whatever organization that you find yourself that has pulled your attention. Give around, give, because you're going to receive, and you don't know who's going to help you when you've helped others. It's really, really crucial. And I'm glad that she was able to listen to her heart and give in this sense, because she's also receiving in ways that she never expected, you know. And she wouldn't have received in that sense if she wouldn't have given in this way. So giving is very important, and I would love myself to give more than just this. And actually, whenever you need me to support the ministry in one way or another, if it's in my means, if it's my capacity, I will do it. What about clothes? Do they ever need clothes?
Yeah, they do need clothes as well. We have storage for clothes as well. So some of the women will tell you, I'm not going to church because I don't have clothes to wear. You know, I'm just this one cloth that I've been wearing for years is just getting old, honestly. So like clothes, kids' clothes, and please, when you're giving, you're giving clothes, like, please don't give things that, yes, definitely that you want to give away.
Trash.
Yeah, give something that you'd be like, okay, yes, it's old, but is this something that you would wear yourself, you know, bringing things that are torn because
because you want to get rid of them,
you know. So it's not a trash can. It's it's we're addressing people, want things that would giving them dignity. So the way they dress is 100%. Also a way to dignify themselves. So children toys, because most of these women come with their kids, and that's part of the thing that we're also doing is childcare. You know, children toys, clothes. You know, honestly, like, think of us like a house that has family that you're trying to support. You know. Yes. And in whatever way God really guides you.
Oil, lotion, makeup. Hey, these are ladies. They gotta look, you know. You know,
I've
they,
never thought about makeup, but oh well, yeah, why not?
yeah, you have a little bit of it, you know. Yeah, of course. Whatever that you know you need as a woman, they need as
Yeah,
ladies
like
too.
sanitary pads,
Yes.
yeah, things like that. Honestly, just God has used me to start this, but I'm putting it in your arms as well to help this, help Bohoka in different ways. Honestly, suggestions. It's
Yes.
not like
Ideas. Yeah.
ideas. It's not like I have like fixed. I'm fixated. This is how things are gonna
Yes.
run. No, things have changed. Things keep changing. So ideas, and I'm really really open to suggestions, partners, and
Yes.
just the door of Bohoka. Come visit us as well. Come see what we're talking about. Come be part of this story. So, yeah.
Wow, that's great. That's great, and I cannot add any more. So we're gonna put her information down in the descriptions, the website. Probably if she allows us to have any other contact, we'll have it there, so that you can find ways to communicate, to contact her, and if you want to support her in one way or another, so that you can have a way to support. Ah, this was a good one. I really
Thank you.
enjoyed it,
Thank you.
and one of the things that makes me want to live longer even more is to see people who are trying to help others. I am the same way. I can't do everything, but whatever I can do, I always love to do. I always enjoy doing. So supporting someone who is supporting others is not work. It is like supporting myself, because the context of life, as we've said here, is that we are one. So we have to find a way to help each other.
Right.
So thank you so much for the work that you're doing. I really appreciate it. Hopefully by the next time probably you're here or whatever, we'll hear more growth,
Definitely.
more success stories. The
Definitely.
fact that these people are coming from the streets and they're getting jobs. If you have a company, you have a job, and you need people to work for you,
Please.
according to what she's training them, you need people to work. She's training them to be faithful. She's training them to be accountable. She's training, like, you're having, and she's accountable for them. You would ask them, oh, your person, you gave me someone who is trashy. Then she's gonna know how to fix her even better. So if you have jobs, you
Yes.
need people to work in your saloon, in whatever, call her. You're not just giving her opportunities. No, you also want to make your business get better. It's not easy to find trustworthy people out here nowadays. It's not just nowadays. It has always been like that. So thank you so much, Mtesi, for being available.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for allowing our invitation and being my first guest. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I can't wait to see your YouTube channel. Honestly, I'm so proud of you that finally,
Gracias.
you've been talking about it forever. So I'm glad that I've been here to be your first guest,
Yes.
and I know it's gonna go far because I know how much you really work so hard in the things that you put your heart on. So I
Thank you
can't
so
wait to
much.
see you grow and get your YouTube channel being
Thank
a
you.
blessing. Because honestly, it's not like you're just putting any content that is
Trashy.
that is trashy. You're making an impact by sharing stories
Yes.
like this. So honestly, you're supporting me actually by putting my story out there as well. So
Thank you so much.
I'm glad that I'm on your channel. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And we are gonna call it an interview. That's it. We're done here. Thank you so much. And I'll see you sometime soon with
Very soon.
better stories. Thank you so much, guys, for following. Like, subscribe, share, and support. Thank you.